Six Flags Great America is one of the biggest and most well-rounded amusement parks in the U.S. Located in Gurnee, Illinois, the park gets some of the biggest investments from any of the Six Flags parks. With 2022 marking 3 years since their latest coaster, it's time to take a look at what they could get next. Today I will be revealing my predictions for their next coaster and why I think it's going to be insane. You won't believe what I think it is. Six Flags loves investing in huge roller coasters for each of their parks. They opened the Joker, and the Joker in 2017. Wait, maybe not such big coasters. Anyway, enough hating on Six Flags, but since they went bankrupt around 10 years ago, Six Flags hasn't been spending as much as usual on coasters for parks in their chain. Great America is one of the parks that always seems to get the more expensive additions, and it is also the chain's test park for larger rides. They got the first B&M Wing coaster in the chain, and Six Flags would have probably installed another and some other parks if they didn't go bankrupt shortly afterwards. Since installing X-Flight, the wing coaster Great America got in 2012, the park's addition started being a little cheaper. Just 2 years after X-Flight in 2014, Great America got an RMC with Goliath, which is rumored to have cost around $10 million US, and in 2017 they opened the Joker, which is rumored to have cost only $7.5 USD. Compare that to the price of X-Flight, which is rumored to have cost $15 million USD, and you see how their coasters have been declining in cost. But in 2019, Six Flags did the unexpected and spent a rumored $15 million on Max Force. That's almost the price of a B&M coaster. Now the big question is where Six Flags goes from here. Does 2020 push them back to cheaper coasters like before 2019? Or do they rebound right away to more expensive coasters? Since 1992, the park's longest gap between coasters was 5 years, and that was between a B&M Flyer, Superman Ultimate Flight in 2003, and the Dark Knight Clone in 2008, and that was when Six Flags was having financial issues. During that time, Six Flags was also installing two massive Intamin coasters at Six Flags Great Adventure with King Dakar and El Toro, and those were no cheap additions. Other than that 5-year gap, Great America seems to get coasters rather often every 2 to 3 years. 2022 marks 3 years for Max Force, which is their most recent coaster addition, so they really should be getting a coaster for 2022, but I don't think that will happen for 2 reasons. Number one, Six Flags doesn't care to leave Great America without a coaster for a little longer than usual, especially when they're having financial troubles and when Great America was closed all 2020. The other reason is I think Six Flags Great America is preparing for a huge new coaster, either as their next coaster or a few years down the line after the next coaster to replace American Eagle, their Intamin dueling wooden coaster from 1982. Now hold up, don't dislike the video just yet. Great America was rumored to RMC American Eagle and instead went for building Goliath, which shows they likely won't be RMCing American Eagle. But if GCI's Titan Track ends up going on Predator at Darien Lake and becomes successful, Six Flags will probably opt for that rather than demolishing this iconic wooden coaster. If Six Flags removes American Eagle before 2023, I predict they will replace it with a massive, really expensive ride that is insane for 2023 or 2024. However, if they decide to GCI it or leave it open a little longer as is, I think they will get a massive addition a few years later in 2026-2027 time. Now, I have a few ideas as to what they could get next, and since the park barely has any gaps, there's a lot of coasters that could work. The classic Six Flags move would be to put a large-scale Raptor in Great America, similar to Jersey Devil and the rumored one at Magic Mountain. But what if the T-Rex model is already out? The T-Rex will probably be way cheaper than a B&M Giga, as it uses a lot less steel, So if Six Flags can build a 300-foot T-Rex for under $20 million, I think they'll go for it. A 500-foot T-Rex would be awesome, but I don't think Six Flags is in the budget for that at the moment, and I don't think they'd pick this park to break the 500-foot record if they decided to. A 500-foot would probably go to Great Adventure or Magic Mountain, though it probably won't go anywhere. A 300-foot T-Rex, however, wouldn't be too far out of Six Flags' budget, and I think there is a solid chance it can happen, especially if they remove American Eagle. This would be the first Giga coaster in the Six Flags chain. Another coaster I think the typical Six Flags move to get is the Axis coaster. Whether or not Fiesta Texas opens the first one, classic Six Flags fashion would be to open the second Axis, or even the first at Great America. If Great America got the Axis, I'd bet on them getting the lift hill version because they just got a launch coaster with Max Force. The Axis coaster, the Raptor, and even the T-Rex are the typical Six Flags ride that would likely be Great America's next coaster, but there are some others I think have a solid chance of being Great America's next coaster, and though these may sound insane, I think they have a solid chance. They may seem out of Six Flags' budget, but when you realize American Eagle might have to close, and it's Great America that we're talking about, you realize their next coaster may just be the most insane and unpredictable coaster Six Flags opens in the decade. Here are my few insane ideas. First is the B&M Surf Coaster. Six Flags uses this park as a test park, and if the surf coaster costs around the $15 to $20 million range, and SeaWorld Orlando doesn't open the first one, I think Great America may want to open the first B&M Surf Coaster. Six Flags hasn't worked with B&M since 2012, but they recently worked with them to convert Firebird at Six Flags America, so it's not too far-fetched. If Six Flags was looking to work with B&M again, one of the most likely parks to get the first B&M would be Great America. Great America has quite the history with B&M. They opened the first B&M stand-up coaster with Iron Wolf in 1990, and the first B&M invert with Batman the Ride in 1992. They also opened one of the first B&M wing coasters with X-Flight in 2012. If Six Flags were to go back to B&M, the perfect way would be to open the first surf coaster at Great America. Also, with Max Force having cost $15 million USD and X-Flight costing around the same price range, it's definitely possible Six Flags considers the surf coaster as an option, especially if they remove American Eagle, and though it's unlikely, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Once we're on the topic of Six Flags working with B&M, would it be that crazy for Six Flags to build a B&M Giga in American Eagle's plot of land? If they remove the American Eagle, they'd have to replace it with a good coaster, and a B&M Giga is definitely good. I'll make it even better. Let them beat Fury's record with a 350-foot B&M Giga coaster. This is more a dream than realistic, but there's a reason I said their next coaster has to be insane, especially if they remove American Eagle. Though I'd love to see Six Flags add a B&M Giga to Great America or even Great Adventure, I don't see it happening in the next 5 years, but maybe later down the line. You never know. With Six Flags now working with mock rides for Aquaman at Over Texas, maybe they will add a Mack coaster like the Extreme Spinner or something, but probably not. Max coasters are now much different in price from a B&M Giga, and a B&M Giga would be better for them in terms of marketability and breaking records. I just listed potential coasters Great America can get from almost every manufacturer. I listed B&M, Mock Rides, S&S, and RMC. Premier Rides would probably not be an option because they just got a launch coaster and Six Flags hasn't seemed so into wooden coasters as of late. So I don't think a GCI or Gravity Group is likely either. There are 3 more major manufacturers I haven't talked about yet: Intamin, Vekoma, and Gerstlaur. I can't see Six Flags taking a chance on Intamin again, yet especially not before they go back to B&M. Vekoma is a possibility, and if Six Flags decides to build a Vekoma, they will probably test it out first at Great America. There are many Vekomas that could be options, but I don't think Six Flags will be ready for Vekoma in 2023, but maybe a little later. I'd love to see a Vekoma though, so we'll have to see what happens. Now for the craziest wildcard. Could Six Flags Great America be getting the rumored record-breaking Gerstlaur for 2022? The coaster is rumored to be opening in May, and Great America opened 7 out of their last 9 coasters in May. Now, you might think I'm crazy because Six Flags hasn't worked Gerstlaur since the New Texas Giant incident, but it's about time they made up. Now, although this is probably not the case, and the Gerstlaur is probably going to Cedar Point, I would not be surprised if the new CEO of Six Flags decided to make peace with Gerstlaur, and I would be really happy if they did. These are all the coasters I think have even the slightest chance of being Great America's next coaster, and the best realistic option is a T-Rex, Raptor, or Axis coaster. Hopefully a 300-foot T-Rex or a 200-foot Axis coaster, but we'll have to wait and see. Please let me know what you think of my predictions, and let me know if there's a coaster better fit for Great America than